Helen Yee here with Eyes on the Game here in Las Vegas, being joined by the one and only Coach Javier Mendez. Great to see you, especially here in Las Vegas. I feel like you were in Dubai for a while and then Abu Dhabi, of course.
Yeah, I was over there for about 5 months. I got there September 7th and I overstayed.
So did you buy a home there too?
No. You feel like I probably had a home there as long as I was there. You know, the Maidan Hotel seemed like my home.
Yes, well, welcome back to the States. You don't need to order any more room service pizza.
No, we have to go out now.
I was actually on my way here, and then I get a message. Kenny Florian just reported, or he claims that Khabib versus GSP is now in the works.
Really? Okay. I mean, listen, straight up. I didn't know he was going to retire. So, and we never discussed about retirement. We never discussed if he's going to be retired officially. We never discussed any of that. So I'll just wait and see like everybody else. Yeah, you know, I'm ready to go. If he's ready to go, I'm ready to go. If he's not, then he's not. You know, either way, I'm with him. So, yeah, that's interesting. Okay. Kenny, you got inside scoop? I like that. I don't know.
So does that scoop seem pretty realistic in your opinion?
In my opinion, if anything's going to be realistic, that's the one, because it is GSP. And it is what his father had discussed with him. I was in the car when that discussion was talked between him and Khabib. So I do know that his father wanted him to go 30-0 and retire. And I do know that he wanted it to be GSP for his final fight. Yeah. So that being the case, if Dana can pull his magic and Khabib can get mother's permission, providing Khabib actually wants the fight, and he gets mother's permission, then I can see that fight happening for sure. And that's the only one that I think has any chance of happening. And again, it's like I say, father's plan. Well, this one's going to be mother's plan.
Do you see that fight maybe happening this year?
Yes, if it does happen this year, if they do get it worked out and mother's plan goes ahead, then I can see it at the September, October frame. Yeah.
Yeah. So back in Abu Dhabi?
Abu Dhabi, I think, would be the place to go, or somewhere else where a huge stadium. I mean, that would be a massive sell anywhere.
Absolutely. Even here, Allegiant Stadium. I mean, depending on, it still is COVID era, though. Yeah,
still is COVID. But by the time that one comes, or hopefully we'll be done and through this whole fiasco of this pandemic that's hurt everybody. But I'm thinking that if somehow Dana can get this and somehow Khabib does want the fight and he gets mother's approval, then I see this fight happening late summer.
Well, how do you see that fight playing out?
This is our toughest match ever. Yeah, so we really have to do our work. GSP will definitely do his work, and I'll definitely do mine, and Khabib will definitely do his. If this is turning out to be something that is real, I have never heard of it. So, but let's just talk in a pretend situation. We would have to do our homework with him 100%. I'd have to really do a lot of studying on George, because he's incredible. He is an incredible guy all the way around, and it would be a pleasure to fight a gentleman such as himself, who's one of the greats, and that would be a fight for the fans, if Mother's Plan can go through and Dana can put it together.
And I just want to reiterate, there is no confirmation yet, though.
Zero confirmation. I just heard it from you, so.
So they're just rumors right now.
Well, for me, it's a rumor, but again, I didn't know he was going to retire either. So I've never discussed it with him, and there's a lot of news with me out there that coach says this, coach says that, and they get the clickbait, and they put things out there, and I'm going, it's like, we're talking if what's not, we're not talking reality, but you read it, it says reality. Khabib is only going to hold out for GSP. And I said, I never said that. Yeah. I said in a real world, if that's what they're asking me could happen. Yeah, but Khabib and I never discussed anything about fighting anybody ever. Yeah. So, but again, this is definitely an interest one, because I did say GSP all the time on my interviews.
Yes, absolutely. Well, no clickbait here, because I know right now the only challenge that Khabib has is that push-up challenge that you always post between him and Usman, right?
Yeah, that got over 1 million views. Crazy.
So he is better at doing push-ups?
Well, it was him that did it. He said, Coach, you got to redo that push-up challenge. I go, why? He goes, because a lot of people blast me, and you filmed the wrong angle. So you need to film it right, and you need to show the right angle so they can really judge. So, yeah.
Well, what's the right angle?
I was on the side. I wasn't directly in front of them where I can, they can see. And you can see when I was clearly in front, you can see Khabib was better. But on the side, you could see how some people could think Usman was better.
Okay.
So he wanted to make sure it was perfect. I'm like, okay, who'd ever thought that'd get that many views? That's crazy.
Well, everyone loves Khabib.
Yeah, and the one that I just put out with him in DC, where he's picking on DC shoes. What are you wearing? It's like that, good, bad, like things like that. I mean, you really would have to believe that those two combined together, a reality show or some kind of something. There's magic between DC and Khabib. Magic, pure magic.
Yes, that needs to happen.
Yeah,
if it's not already in the works.
Somebody should be thinking about that, because those guys are pure magic, pure magic.
Oh, and lastly, about the Khabib and GSP rumors, which weight division would you want that fight to take place at?
Well, it'd have to be 155, like it was discussed, with Father. But I'm sure that George is smart, and he's going to go, it's a little too light for me. He's used to making that weight. I'm not used to making that weight, which is a smart choice on his part. So I don't know. Let's see what happens. They can work it out. But I'm thinking 155, But if it happens, and I no clue about anything else, I would think he'd want 155, but I think that, hey, you can always make a case for a 165-pound belt division.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, just saying. What a great way to make that debut for 165. But speaking of 155, and a big reason why you're here in Las Vegas, Islam has that fight against Drew Dober coming up. What are kind of your expectations for him in that upcoming fight?
Well, unfortunately for him on this fight, Drew Dober is such an incredibly tough guy, but he's not expected to be a huge challenge for him because of the ranking. And a win for Islam is not going to bring his stock up too high, when in fact, a win against RDA would have really moved his stock up. In this particular situation, we might even have a tougher guy, but not ranked higher. So it's one of those scenarios where he's going to get through it and he's going to do great, but he belongs in fighting the top 5 in the world. That's where Islam belongs, in my opinion.
Yeah, and speaking of that top 5, he's ranked 14 right now, but a lot of people kind of see him or view him as already, one of the top contenders in that lightweight division. So when you look at the top, 5, top 8 lightweights in the world right now, how do you think that Islam kind of matches up against them?
He matches up great with all of them. And listen, this is there's no secret. I've always said, when people talk to me about Khabib sparring, and I say he's never lost a sparring session ever in the history of sparring with me, never. And I'd say he does lose a round here and there. And the one thing that I've never said, who? And the person who is Islam. He's the only one that's ever won a round against Khabib, ever. Yeah. Ever. He's the only one that's ever done it. No one's ever beat Khabib in a round, never. And all the years he's been with me, the 9 years, no one's ever beat him in a round, never. So if Islam is winning a round here and there, how good is Islam?
Oh, absolutely. And I know all the fans can't wait to see him in that octagon in March. So what are kind of your expectations for him and maybe in 2021?
I think 2021 is because Khabib's got such a high profile name, and now that he's potentially retired, we don't know 100%. All eyes are going to be in Islam. Who's next from Eagles MMA? And we know our top dog right now from Eagles is Islam. So all eyes are going to be on him, his cousin Umar, his cousin Usman, who's with the Bellator, Abukar, and then all eyes are going to be on Zubaira, because they're all part of that clique, and they named me the head coach for Team Eagles, so I'm the head coach for all those guys. So I'm going to be involved with all those guys, in their fights, and it looks like a very good year for us. But I think this fight is not going to be the coming out for Islam. I think the next one is. Yeah. It's only because not that Drew is not super, super tough, it's he's just not ranked, in the top 5.
Yeah, well, what about Umar? You just brought him up. He got so much attention for his UFC debut. What are your expectations for him, and when can we expect him to return?
Well, he's actually ready to go anytime. If they want to put him in March sometime, that'd be great. We're ready to go. It just depends on when the UFC can get something for him. I expect him to continue to steadily climb. He's different than Khabib, but he's like Khabib, in the sense that he's dedicated. He stays true to his religion. He stays true to himself. He's humble. I mean, he's Khabib. It's just not as skilled at the present time, but he's gaining that skill with Khabib there, with me there for him, helping him. He's not Khabib. He's Umar, but he's still a great prospect that I see fighting for a world title in about 5-6 fights. And if anybody doesn't agree, then you're not really watching what this kid is all about. He's that good.
Yeah, and he definitely made a very impressive UFC debut. And what about for Usman? When can we expect his return?
I don't know exactly, because I don't know when Bellator is starting their first shows. I believe it's in April sometime. I hope if he gets to fight, I hope it's on the first show, but I don't know when that first show is going to be. It's going to be in April. That's what I was told.
Okay. Well, like I mentioned, there's always so much going on in that lightweight division in particular. It was reported that Charles Oliveira, him and Michael Chandler, or he was offered a fight against Michael Chandler, but it wasn't for the title, and it was reported that he turned it down. What do you think about Michael Chandler, and do you think that he deserves to fight for the title, or what do you make of where he's positioned?
I think he's in a great position. I mean, he came in from a Bellator. He came in, destroyed someone that was super, super tough. I think he's in the talks. He should be considered in the talks, but I think Oliveira is ahead of him. So I think that's why Oliveira is probably declining that, and he's waiting until a fight with Dustin, and I think Justin Gaethje, I mean, he's coming off a loss, so I don't think he's in the mix. So I think, Oliveira is smart because, from my opinion, based on, and this is not how it works, but based on winning and losing, it's Oliveira and Dustin for me is the yeah, that's what I feel. But we've seen many of things change. It's all eyeballs to the screen. And if they feel that Chandler and Dustin can get more eyeballs, then guess what? They're going to go with that, whether we like it or not. This is not, like NFL. This is not like college basketball where number one and number two. No, this is who's the biggest eyeballer can sell. And that's the way it should be. Promotions are out there to give what the fans want. Well, if more people are going to tune in for this fight, then what are you going to do? You got to give them that fight. I mean, that's what it's about, right? And then they make money.
Well, then where does Conor McGregor go from here? Is it Nate Diaz 3? Is it Tony Ferguson?
I think Conor can ride his own ship still. His name is still huge. I think he can do whatever he wants. He doesn't have no options. He has all the options. Yeah. That's straight up. He has all the options. How can you deny him? Look at the way that he sells. He sells as much as he does. Do I like him as a person? No, not really. But you got to respect the star power. He's got a lot of star power.
Yes. And speaking of star power, a lot of stars coming out of AKA. You're repping your gym's hat. AKA, it was founded in 1985. When you kind of reflect on this journey, right, from, the Cain Velasquez, DC, Luke Rockhold, Khabib.
Frank Shamrock was my first guy, Frank Shamrock.
Yeah, Frank Shamrock. Which moment are you most proud of?
The moment I'm most proud of, and people don't expect it, is when John Fitch won the World Series of Fighting a championship, because he did it without me. He did it with the least amount of help from me, and that to me is my proudest moment, because it shows that you can be in the system and you could be the guy that everybody ignores, and you can still become a champion regardless of the odds against you, and he proved that. And that's why it's something that people don't expect. They're thinking something else, but no, it's John Fitch. He won the world title with minimal help from me, and that made me very proud.
Yes. And lastly, what would you like to tell all your fans who can't wait to kind of see what's next, to follow along, and of course, your always very entertaining Instagram posts.
Well, stay tuned. Khabib will be back in town soon. And, of course, me, I'm going to have my camera ready to go and film little juicy stuff that he does, especially with him in D.C. That's the best.
They should do a push-up challenge.
Yeah, I don't know about DC. They're probably not going to want to do that one. They should, right? But I don't know. DC might go, no, I'm not going to do that push-up challenge.